Now, the GDC convention happened between March 9th and March 13th, and it was interesting because some of the developers and the people behind adhoc were there. Obviously, the people behind Dispatch. And they talked a little bit about the things that was going on with the game and their industry at the time. And we have talked about here on the channel how Dispatch and the people behind it almost didn't make the game because a lot of people didn't believe in it. And so they went a little bit more in depth about that over on a GDC panel. Now, the article comes from PC Gamer and was written by Lincoln Carpenter. And he talks a little bit about some of the things that were said during that GDC panel. And I found it particularly interesting because Nick Herman and Dennis Lennart were there. And they said they pushed forward with the project even though most of the industry told them that it wouldn't work. And the reason that they said that it wouldn't work was because publishers were telling them that single player narratives were now in a niche market or dead. So things like Telltale games or those types of stories just weren't something that fans wanted or something that fans were missing. They instead told them that the market was focused more on live service games, open world games, and microtransactions. So they were basically told that Telltale style stories just don't sell anymore. And they said that when they left and when that stuff was told to them, they thought, well, yes, we could make an open world game and get funding and do all these things. But just because we can make an open world game doesn't mean that we should. And I thought that that was very interesting. And I think that's why Dispatch turned out to be as good as it was. Because they didn't decide to just chase trends or decide to do what they were being told to do. Now, the developers were joking that this was a combination of arrogance and stupidity because they were ignoring the warning signs from these publishers. But I think that's what more studios or more game developers need to have. Because how many games, haven't made it, or how many great stories have we almost had, but we didn't get them because these publishers and these people in the higher chairs are telling them, no, that's not what we want. I mean, do we really want more live service games? Like, I'm asking you guys, is that what we really fucking want? Probably the fuck not, because I sure as fuck don't. Open world games, there had been a big ass open world fatigue a few years ago. It doesn't seem as bad now, but there is still a lot of open world games and we're getting them all the time. So do we want more and more? No, not really. Like, trying different things and different stories and different ways of telling the story, I think is what's interesting. And the originality of Dispatch is what really hooked so many people into the story. I think that Dispatch worked best in this Telltale style or this episodic style of design. I think that's how it worked the best. And I'm so happy that they decided to chase that. I'm so happy that they decided to do that no matter what the fuck the publishers or other people were telling them. I think that shows a lot of confidence in their work and knowing that they had something here really good that could be fantastic, that could be great. And it ended up paying off. Now, they also talked about how they left Telltale Games and they started up adhoc, and then like a month after, Telltale was shut down. And they said that was purely coincidence. But with them kind of starting adhoc and wanting to work on video games themselves is something that they had been talking about for such a long time. The founders of adhoc, they said that they were very good at, story-driven interactive games, and it was something that they wanted to continue to do. So they wanted to avoid things like open world systems or RPG mechanics just so the publishers could say, okay, yes, we'll give you the money. Okay, yes, we'll publish you. No, they did not want to do that. So their focus was on make the best positive narrative experience instead of trend chasing. That's how they kind of phrased it. So the game would go on to sell well over 3 million copies. It's still doing fantastic. It has great reviews right now. And I think it's a big win for the gaming industry in general, especially for developers that are, indie developers, small developers that want to make these games and they're not being supported or they don't have confidence in them. Publishers aren't showing their confidence in them. And, maybe you take a gamble and it may pay off, right? And I think overall it's interesting because let's say that adhoc would have listened. Let's say that, they left Telltale, they have this new studio and they know what they're good at. And they go and they show these publishers, hey, this is what we want to do. It's kind of episodic. It's similar to what we did at Telltale, but it has its own spin. We try to refine it, try to make it better. And this is like the definitive way of doing these types of episodic games. There's something new and original. No, you know what? That ain't gonna work. We don't want that shit. A lot of the kids now, a lot of the people, a lot of the buyers, they want, live service games. They don't want to do episodic games. That genre is dead. That genre is niche. And then they would have said like, okay, well, you know what? You're right. Let's not do this. And let's go ahead and try to make Dispatch in a different way. It wouldn't have have been as good. It wouldn't have been, you know what I mean? Like it just wouldn't have. So imagine if they would have listened. We almost could have lost this amazing game, this amazing original creation of Dispatch. It could have been gone Blonde Blazer, Robert Robertson III, Invisigal, the whole Z team, Chase, the SDN Dispatch Center, all of the cool fucking shit that we got and all the lore and all the story and everything could have been completely gone. We could have never seen it if they would have listened to the fucking publisher saying these stupid, crazy ass things like, no, we want more live service games. Like, I would take Dispatch and its episodic style and its episodic narrative and its story and everything that it entails more than any fucking live service game. It's just 100% I would. And another thing that I found very interesting is that the creators behind Adhoc said that although it was disheartening to hear the publisher say that episodic style games were dead, basically, they felt like they almost had a responsibility to put this game out there, because if Telltale was closed, then who would push back? That's something that Herman said. We felt like if we wouldn't push back, who would? And while we didn't yet know how we were going to do it, we were aligned on the right things. So again, I just think it's a testament to Adhoc and their determination, and I'm so happy that they went forward with their intuition, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, and decided to make this game, because sometimes you can gamble and lose. They gambled and they won, and now they have a great original series on their hands that can span many seasons. And it could be like the Telltale's The Walking Dead series, right? The Walking Dead series, although it's not my favorite Telltale series, is what really put Telltale on the map. And then you had all these seasons that came afterwards and really built that company. And so now Adhoc can be built by and have this massive reputation with Dispatch. And then, they can have multiple seasons of that. And whenever that is, done and dusted, they can move on to something else. And people are going to be like, yes, we know Adhoc, we trust Adhoc, we want more Adhoc. So I'm just very excited. And as long as they need to take to make Dispatch 2 or to get around to it, I'm completely fine with that. I want to keep on waiting. We know right now that their next project is going to be in the Critical Role universe, as that is what they're working on right now. That was part of their agreement. So after they clear that up and they get that video launch, I'm sure they're going to be jumping into Dispatch Season 2. So very, very cool, very excited. I wanted to share this little bit of news that happened over the last few days over at the GDC convention, just because I thought it was very interesting, and it gives you an insight on what some of these developers have to deal with and how these publishers almost took away a beautiful, beautiful thing in Dispatch.